Triglycerides. Okay, let's review functional group before anything else. Let's talk first for the chemical structural formulas, something like that. Okay, before touching the chemistry, okay, the physiology and the homology. Okay, something like that. I'll be talking more on the general health effects. Huh? I'm not focusing on the specifics. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm so fat, but honestly, I'm turning 65 kilograms. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh, like that. Oh, oh yes. Okay. So it's gonna be, where's my pen? Okay. So it's gonna be TG. Oh my gosh, TG. I'm gonna cut this somewhere along the way because this is too long. Okay? Get the point? Something like that. Okay, this is PG. This is triglycerides. Triglycerides. Okay? Like that. Okay, mga palangga. Okay. So the key term here is glycerides and glycerol, right? So basically aldehyde and okay, glycerol, right? So basically alcohol family, OL. Okay, like that. Okay, so glycerides, the ending is IDES, so aldehyde. So aldehyde, review. Okay, carbon double bond, oxygen, H and R here, right? It's gonna be like that. Okay, and then glycerol will be, remember the glycerol is the formula of glycerol. So what is the formula for this? This is basically an alcohol. Okay, alcohol content coming from beer, wine, whiskey, any fruit, wine or whatever, okay, like that. Get the point. So basically, fermentation process, something like that, and it will produce like this. Okay. So basically, if we have the raw material malt, it will have maltose, and later on it will convert to glycerol, something like that. Okay, it's a long story. Okay, before coming the glycerol. So our formula of glycerol is this, carbon 3 H8O3. And so Sotero, where's the alcohol there? This is a general chemical formula because if you try to break down this one, you can get the OH later. Okay? Something like that. You get the point, and this is an aldehyde. Okay, try, meaning there are 3 glycerides, aldehyde, and glycerol, something like that. Okay? Get the point. So, 1 glycerol, okay, and 3 fatty acids, something like that. So basically, this is under lipid family. Okay? In the meaning of lipid family, that is automatic fat, because the concentration and focus will be going to the fat cells, okay, for our cell membrane or vital organs for heating and cooling, okay, process, and then this will be converted into fuel to trigger metabolism, something like that, okay, metabolic cycle. Okay, so if you talk about fats, metabolism is very important because there's a heating process in order to burn calories into waste products, something like that, or anything. Get the point? Okay. So not limited to that, we can also explain what are the other functions of this TG. Okay? Clear? You can see on the board now. Yeah. Okay. Now before anything else, we need to discuss the leveling first, the intake required. Okay? For a normal healthy person, what is the level of our triglycerides first before discussing the chemical formula so that we can understand, right? Okay, so we have normal is 150 milligrams per liter. Deciliter, sorry. DC, huh? Not liter. DC, meaning prefix in math. 10 to the negative 1. This is DC. And then 10 to the positive 1 is deca. Okay. 10 to the negative 2 is centi. 10 to the positive 2. Okay? Like that. Okay? Centi. Okay. Ganon. So, hecto. Okay, hecto. Am I correct? Okay, okay. Deci, deca. Okay, centi, hecto. Why not cento? Wait, okay. That's what I remember. 10 to the negative 3, we have milli. 10 to the positive 3, we have kilo. Okay? 10 to the negative 6, we have micro. Class, if you are an engineering students, please memorize these prefixes, so that in our calculations, you can really understand how to interpret large digits and numbers so that we can, the purpose of these prefixes is to cut off the writing of too much digits. That's why this is being introduced in math or in science application. Okay? 10 to the positive 6 is mega. Okay? 10 to the negative 9 is nano. Okay? 10 to the positive 9 is giga. So we have gigabytes, megabytes like that. Okay, so we have 10 to the negative 12 is pico. 10 to the positive 12 is tera. Oh, there's also terabyte storage, bigger storage of your laptop or drive. Okay, or USB drive, something like that. Okay, or CPU, central processing unit. Okay, we have 10 to the negative 15, mga palangga, femto. Okay, 10 to the 15, peta. Okay, 10 to the negative 18 is ato, and 10 to the positive 18 is exa. Okay, just stop there because raised to the power 18 is so high. But actually, there's still 10 to the 20, like that, and so on and so forth, but nobody dares to memorize that, right? For me, when I was in college, I am only stopping up to 10 to the 18. Okay? So that if there's conversion like this, convert 2.8 femtogram to something gigagram. So I can manage to convert directly without looking the book, something like that, or without any codigo, something like that. Get the point? So copies, so it's better to comprehensively memorize the conversion factors, something like that. Okay? Advantage na ginisudaan. Okay? If you know the conversion. Okay, going back. I emphasize because DC liter, if you convert to liter, then you can obtain milligrams per liter, something like that. Okay? And if you have the density, then you can compute for the volume, then you can compute the dosage of triglycerides in terms of volume. Okay, like that. Or in terms of aqueous solution, or just simply solid, right? Mass. Okay, so this is for normal healthy person. Okay, normal healthy person. Okay, 150 is the maximum, something like that. Okay, normal. Is the point for our triglyceride levels. You can see this during our medical exam. Okay, prior to get hired. Okay, like that, and you go to physical examination. Okay, it's gonna be like that. So our borderline to causing for our coronary diseases and cardiovascular diseases is, okay, 150 to 200, or let's say 199, okay, milligram per deciliter. Okay, and our coronary diseases. Okay, and cardiovascular, CVDs, cardiovascular diseases attributed to high blood pressure. Okay, high glucose, blood glucose is very high. Okay, like that. And also cholesterol will be very high. So if this gonna be like this, automatic your triglycerides are also very, very high. Okay, like that. So we have 200 to 500 like that. So it's in this range that you can develop diseases from 200 milligrams per deciliter to 500 milligrams deciliter. So Sotero, how can I compute this one? You can see this in your medical exam, or you don't need to compute. All you have to do is to establish the take in, inputting in your mouth the food into your system. The dosage or intake of the food. We need to select the right kind of food and the healthier food inside our system like this, because nobody will compute every time like this. This is not practical, right? And we don't have apparatus also to keep on measuring these things. Okay, this is only an idea, an information, something. This is the leveling of our triglycerides. Okay, you get the point. Why we need to control? Because this can cause diseases, as I mentioned earlier, coronary diseases, cardiovascular diseases, due to high glucose in the blood. Okay, something like that. And then later on also, it will be complementary to type 2 diabetes, hyperglycemia, obesity, fat, too much fat. Things like that, they are really related with each other, With the point mo lang ako. Okay, now, since we know already what diseases to be developed, then we need to discuss the chemistry so that we can understand how these substances behave inside our body. Okay? So, like I have chocolates, but I stopped eating. I'm not eating, but my cortisol hormone says to me, please do not eat. And I don't eat, something like that. Okay? You get the point? Basta mga kaon gani guys, for example, junk foods, ice cream, like that, sweetened foods, cake, halo-halo, pizza pie ba? Or pizza hut. Okay, French fries, burger, what this one? The buttered chicken or the roasted chicken, like that. Very good in our eyes, right? Very delicious, really, very delicious. Okay, by appearance. Okay, so if you stop to take that into your system, so meaning your cortisol hormone as a neurotransmitter chemical messenger are controlling your body and communicated to your brain cells and neurons to activate the message, don't eat because it is not good for the health. Like that. But then if you try also to eat, your cortisol hormone is very, very high, then you eat without control. So it has to do something with the cortisol hormone, because cortisol hormone is a body stress hormone. Okay? To regulate fats, carbohydrates, sugar, proteins, like anything that you take into your body. Okay? So this is the function of the cortisol hormone. At the point mga palangga kung hitad, ganon. Okay, and then plus your chemical messengers hormone with regards to appetite. Okay, the dopamine, and also your chemical messengers hormone related to the mood. Okay, that's serotonin. So basically we are hormonal. Human beings are hormonal. That's why most of the diseases also are hormonal related. Okay? You get the point? Anak siya. Okay, going back to TG. So what's the time now? TG, triglycerides. Okay. Now in our organic chemistry, raise your hand if you are studying organic chemistry, or BS chemistry students in front of me now. Chemical engineering students, BS pharmacy students, medical technology students, or any science profession loaded with chemistry, right? Biochemistry, like that, or whatever. Okay? So, in our organic chemistry, let's review so that we can understand. So, in our organic chemistry, organic chemistry. Okay. So basically, we are referring here to lipid family, ha? One of the macromolecules or biomolecules. Okay. Basically, we are not talking here of nutrients. Okay, because as I told you, okay, lipid is the number 2 killer of all substances. The number 1 are the carbohydrates family, the deadly sugar. Okay, number 2 is lipid. Okay, the point. The others are good, but it depends on the dosage. If it is too much, if it is less. Okay, so vitamins, minerals like that. Okay, protein, water. Okay, you get the point. Other fluids, acids, bases, alcohol, something like that. But it was mentioned in the documentary in the World Health Organization and controls of diseases and prevention center that it's really sugar and lipid. Actually, they call this fat because it is more popular to the public. Some, the people are not knowing too much lipid. Only for the science professionals that understands well what is lipid all about. But for the general public, what they understand is fat. But fat is only an example of lipid. To the point, so we'll just say sugar and fat are the deadliest substances if that is too much from the leveling of a normal, healthy person. Okay, ganon. Because basically, they are equally important for our body also. Okay, how to manage these substances are the critical part of our decision making. How we will be able to become healthy, like that. Okay, so it's gonna be like that. Okay, so in our organic chemistry, if I have, let's say, lipid. Okay, lipid. Okay. Taas kami siya guys do, magtatagbuntag if you try to discuss the, the structuring, the concepts. Okay, it's too much, but I have to make it short. Lipid, okay, I don't have time. Okay, I'm not a full-time instructor, I'm only a vlogger. Okay, you get the point. So we have lipid. Okay, then it will produce TG here. Okay, the TG, it will produce, okay, cholesterol. Okay. What is the formula of cholesterol, mga talangga? There are 27 atoms of carbon, there are 46 atoms of hydrogen and oxygen. Imagine there are 27 atoms of carbon. So meaning to say this is relatively solid in nature, something like that. So problem of stocking into our blood vessel. And another also disadvantage, cholesterol is hydrophobic, meaning it will not be dissolved to water, insoluble, aside from high molecular weight. Because the more molecular weight is very high, then it could not be pushed freely to move in different vessels like that. It needs a lot of pressure, natural pressure. You get the point inside our body because we don't have motor pump inside our intestine or inside our body. Okay? You get the point, only natural pressure will be there. Pushing is going there, going there, going up, going there, like that. Okay, then the issue is high molecular weight. Okay? Insoluble to water. Okay? The tendency really, it would stuck. Okay, if too much. You get the point? But take note, this cholesterol is another thing. TG also is another thing. Very dangerous, right? Because cholesterol is coming from TG also. Nakakaloka, di ba? So we need to be clever enough. Nakakaloka. Okay, so cholesterol, okay, will be converted into various fats into our fat cells. Okay, and then into our adipose tissue. Our adipose tissue stores the fat, okay, and energy, and it will give to the fat cells. And after that, it will go to our, here. If it is not burned completely, not digested, it will go to our visceral stomach. It will become a visceral fat. So what comes here in the fat cells too much are subject to unborn. Okay, if you go to the fat cells coming from the adipose tissue. Okay, why tissue first? Because tissue is bigger than the cell. Get the point? Like that. And then it will be here in our stomach, that is now a visceral fat. yan. Okay, especially if you do have exercise. And then you feel bloating. You know bloating? Like a balloon. Your stomach like a balloon because of the unborn cholesterol and some fats there, not burned. Okay? Plus your sugars. Blah blah blah, so and so. Ganon. The other also, we go to other vital organs. For example, we go to the digestive system. Okay, the cholesterol is a raw material for the digestive system. Okay, to produce digestive fluids, acids, the bile acids. Okay, and then the also will go to a raw material for vitamin D. Okay, for the bone health. And the other also will go to the manufacturing and producing of steroid hormones. Okay, steroid hormones for our sperm cells. Okay, and our, sa babae, estrogen. For men, we have the testosterone, like this. Still, we'll go to the reproductive. So, that's siya padulungan, okay? Okay, so if it is not completely born, chance is it will go to your skin and muscles, then leads you to obesity and fat. Okay, that's the point. Then you need to control this later on. I'll be showing you the control measures to be done. Wait, but I need to discuss the chemical formula. Okay, or structure formula. Okay, so we need to be technical here. Okay, when we can say what is an oil and what is a fat, we need to classify. We don't need to be general. We need to be specific. For a certain, for example, for a certain melting point, how can we call that this is a fat, this is an oil? Because there's operating parameters. This substance will behave as an oil at a certain temperature. This substance will behave as a fat at a certain temperature. But normally also they will behave generally as both. Something like that. Okay? Meaning, at room temperature or ambient temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or standard temperature and pressure. Okay? At STP. Okay. Like that. Okay. Here, guys, in the study of, of lipid and fats, cholesterol, like that, and everything, because they are basically related. Okay? We must understand first the process of esterification reaction. Okay? The process of producing esters. The salts of organic compounds, something like that. You get the point? So, esterification reaction. Okay. Esterification meaning this is a process to produce esters by the name itself. But our raw materials, our reactants will be an alcohol, okay, like that, and fatty acids. So, our fatty acids, our alcohol here is specifically the glycerol. Okay? Like that. Now, since I'm telling you that this is a reactant or this is the raw materials, then we start this from the left. So, we'll say alcohol, general. Okay? Alcohol, okay, plus fatty acids is equal to esters because you're having the product, esters. What is the pair for this? Plus what? Then question mark. Alcohol plus fatty acid is equals to esters plus what? If you remember our chemistry lecture, so it's in there also may pinaghuhugutan. So we have hydrolysis reaction and it will produce neutralization product, something like that. It's just the same principle, but the only difference is we use the alcohol as the base here. So our base is the alcohol. Okay. Let's adapt the principles of chemistry lecture 1 and 2, touching organic chemistry. Then to understand properly health science. Okay. Base, our alcohol. Okay. Acid, of course, our fatty acids. Obviously. Okay. Like if you come to salt, esters is the salt of organic compound. Salt is the salt of inorganic chemistry. Okay. Plus water. because this is hydrolysis. So we need to add water here also, meeting the same analogy. So basically in organic chemistry we will say alcohol plus fatty acids is equals to esters plus water, or we can say also esters as the salt of organic compound plus water. So this is the whole thing here is esterification reaction. Meaning esterification reaction, you need to produce the esters. Okay, you need to produce the esters, not the reverse. Okay, you need to produce the esters, so esterification reaction are equivalent to condensation reaction. Condensation reaction. Okay, got the point? Okay, ganon. Condensation reaction in terms of organic compound, not based on the heat transfer, boiling, heating, or unit processes, physical operations, exclusively for organic related topic, something like that. Okay, now you have like this, right? Very clear already. Now you need to know what is also the formula of ester. Since I know the formula of aldehyde, so what is the formula of ester? I already teach you. That's why I'll teach you. I taught a while ago to you guys the functional group because it's very important. So this is ester is R, single bond carbon, double bond oxygen, like that, and oxygen here, and then there's an R here. Okay. When you put an apostrophe, this is also another alkyl group. And if you put another alkyl group, apostrophe two, like that. But all are R, alkyl group. Okay, C and O is the carbonyl group, like that. Get the point? And CH is a chain and linkage, like that. Okay, carbon and hydrogen chain or carbon and hydrogen linkage. That is a bridge or a backbone in which they are being banded together. Okay, that's what we call in chemistry or organic chemistry as linkage, or really a region where it is being banded by elements. Okay, this is esters. Very clear now. Esters and fatty acids is carbon, double bond oxygen. I also told you a while ago, just 2 days ago, right? Carbon, double bond oxygen, COH, and R also here. Okay, this fatty acid. Alcohol is very easy. OH negative. Okay. The same as in organic chemistry. Organic chemistry and organic chemistry the same. Okay? But in chemistry, there are alcohols dealing with aromatic, close chain. Something like, for example, the toluene and the benzene, something like that. Okay, they have the ring, something like that. And there's a double bond somewhere there, and attached also the alkyl. Here, attached also the OH, so that's why we will say phenol. Get the point? Phenol or diol, like that. There's an OL. So this is higher family of alcohol, but not necessarily functioning as an alcohol. Just like cholesterol, right? Cholesterol ends in OL. Okay. So if that ends in OL in organic chemistry, though it is a family of alcohol, it will function as a sterol. Okay. That's why we have steroid hormones, because the steroid is a term coming from sterol family, and it will be converted to steroid in the English terminology if the process has been done to produce a product. Okay, but the functional group starts with sterol. You mean to say cholesterol is a biosynthesized sterol. Okay, what do you mean by biosynthesized? Meaning it is biosynthesized inside our body. Biosynthesized inside the animals, not necessarily taking outside from the food we eat. The natural reaction inside the body, not through food supplements like that or vitamins you take it, so your cholesterol. It's ordinary reaction, meaning biosynthesized. Okay, so shall we say it is really non-essential because essential is coming from outside. Okay, I don't know also why they call that as an essential. Supposedly the essential should be inside, right? Inside our stomach. But, chemists, physicists name that as, essential if the source will be from outside. Okay, so essential amino acids. Okay, essential cholesterol, essential vitamins, essential omega fats. Okay? Because omega fats also cannot be synthesized inside our body. For example, omega-3 and omega fats, they cannot be manufactured naturally inside our body. It should be taken from outside through food intake, supplements, vitamins like that. For example, omega-3, you will eat mackerel, salmon, tuna, all about fishes family rich in omega-3 fats. Okay, and some also foods like, let's say, tomato, get the point, omega-3. You get the point, mga kalangga kung hitan. It's gonna be like that. So anything about omega is not coming from inside, ha? It's outside source. So if you can understand, omega pala siya, yeah, it's not synthesized, it's manufactured outside. Okay? Okay, balikan natin siya. So, taas kayo siya guys. Uy, magtagbuntagan nyo ron. Ako lang yung bitso, uy. Okay. Ano din siya guys? Diba? So, our glycerol. Okay, glycerol formula. So, we have 3 carbon atoms and 3 OH like this. Okay, OH. Okay, and then H here, H here, H, like that. Okay, so you have 3 OH. Always put that in your brain cells that glycerol as an alcohol have OH3 attached. Okay, like that, because this is an outlet that the fatty acids can react. Okay, that's the point. That's why when you drink alcohol, you can really produce triglycerides. Okay, because that's glycerol already, plus the fats you eat like the meat. Okay, and also the carbohydrates will convert also later on to some fatty constituents as a precursor, something like that. So really, okay, by the time you will drink alcoholic beverage, you are adding triglycerides in your system. Okay, like that. So we have here, this is glycerol. Okay, like that. Okay. Take note also guys, if we have glycerin, okay, what's the difference? Glycerin and glycerol. So glycerin is not an alcohol, it's more of a protein. Or it can act also as a hormone. Always not be confused, ends in INE, always a protein or a hormone. Okay, so that we have an idea. Ends in ASE, that's an enzyme. Ends in OSE, that is sugar. Ends in OL, that is alcohol. So at first, generally, we can identify what kind of substance is that through the name. Okay, carbohydrates. Actually, we can say, if you try to restrict it, it's belonging to the salt family. But they are not applying this, ATE. Okay, like sulfate, oxalate, like the chromate, phosphate. Okay, ends in ATA. The past tense of it is 8. So that's our identification for a salt. Okay, ATE. And then for the acid, our identification is IC and OUS. Hydrochloric, so IC last. Like that. Okay, sulfurous acid, so OUS also. IC is for higher anion, and OUS is for lesser anion. Okay, like that. These are all polyatomic anion. Okay, so by this, we can distinguish the substances we take. Okay, we can determine. Okay, for example, L-carnitine. L-carnitine is a protein used to reduce the weight or the fat content. It's fortified in, fit and right beverage. Special formulation of L-carnitine. Okay, responsible of losing the weight. Okay, that's a function. Okay, that's also a protein, L-carnitine. Ganon. And also ratinidine, right? Ranitidine or not ranitidine. Okay? Looks like that, but research for yourself. Okay? This is a medication. Okay, medication for the esophageal acid reflux diseases, okay, peptic ulcer diseases, overproduction of gastric juices that can cause hyperacidity, like that. Okay? Because if we will not control the too much acid production in our gastric juices, it can cause ulcer, peptic ulcer, and bali it can cause tumor, cancer of the lower part of the small intestine, which is called gastrinomas. Okay, because your gastroline hormone cannot control. Okay, you get the point, cannot regulate well the leveling of your, gastroline hormone there, something like that. Okay, and the acids secretion are too high. Okay, gastric acid secretion. That's the responsibility of our pancreas. And also secretion of insulin hormone, something like that. Okay? Get the point. Ganon. Ranitidine, right? And the example for that is a medicine called Dayuvan. Okay? Dayuvan is not Zantac. I memorize some medicines also, even though I'm not a doctor. Okay, Zantac. Okay? Because Dayuvan is for valsartan, used to treat high blood pressure, kidney malfunction, like that, and cardiovascular diseases. Okay? I'm just studying, guys, because I need to prevent. I need to see what's going on with my health. Ganon. Because to prevent is not limited for the doctors, for the health professionals. You should save your life first before others or anything. And aside from that, it's also costly to go to the hospitals and to buy medicines. It's better to prevent. Okay? Like that. Okay, now, this is glycerol, so plus fatty acids. So this is 3 fatty acids. Be careful, guys, 3 fatty acids. Take note that into your mind. 3, meaning quantitatively, 3. Because it will not produce a triglycerides if your fatty acids is only 1. It will not produce a triglycerides also if your fatty acid is only 2. Okay, that's 3 fatty acids. Ganon. Okay, ilan dapat mga palangga kumitan? Ganon. Okay, so this is our glycerol. If you try to be strict, okay, this is what we call as 1, 2, 3. This is propane. 3 carbons, guys. Propane ko yung basihan na guys ha. So propane, 1, 2, 3, triol. Because there are 3 carbon, tri, and this is OL family. Sorry, triol. And carry the name of 3 carbon atoms, which is propane. So propane 1, 2, 3 triol is another name of glycerol. Okay, through numbering in the what do you call this one? IUPAC, International Union for Pure Applied Chemistry. Right? Like that. So here 1, carbon 1, carbon 2, carbon 3. You need to add fatty acids here. 2 fatty acids, 3 fatty acid. Like that. What's the formula of the fatty acid? I teach you already. It's gonna be carbon, double bond, oxygen, and OH. Here. And R here. R is the alkyl group. Okay. So the same thing in carbon number 2 of the glycerol OH. Carbon double bond oxygen, R also here, and OH, negative carbon double bond oxygen, and R like this. Okay, that's the point. That's why you could also tell that the cholesterol have so many carbon atoms because there are already 3 fatty acids in the raw materials. Okay, higher than the gasoline that runs your car because it contains only 18 atoms of carbon. Okay, you got the point. It's gonna be like that. So, what can you notice? Is there a polarity here? Because we need to determine the polarity of the molecules in order we can react to the corner of the other compound. Okay? So we should remember the Lewis, that structure, the reduction and oxidation, electron and sharing, and transfer of electrons. Okay, so we cannot do the magic here. We need to say, oh, what's really happening here? Is there's an excess electrons like that? Okay, you get the point. Things like that. Okay, you will not react the oxygen obviously because it cannot react here because OH is negative. OH is negative for the OH for the glycerol. It will never react to oxygen in the acids of fatty acids because that's negative also. Negative repel. Okay. And also you cannot react also the two are here because this is an alkyl. Okay. The alkyl will go on the other side because that is very, very heavy molecular weight. Imagine the R here, fatty acids, is 18 atoms of carbon, the same with gasoline, admittedly. Okay? C18, H36, and oxygen 2. This is the formula of your fatty acid. Okay? Actually, we use the saturated fat first, huh? Okay, saturated fats. Okay. This one, and this is called stearic acid. So if the examination in the future will say an example of a saturated fatty acid, you only answer is stearic acid, no other. Okay, because this is the basis. The palmitic acid that we found in the coconut oil is not the standard of saturation. Okay, it has only 16 atoms of carbon, the palmitic acid. Okay, we use cooking oil. Okay, like that. So if stearic acid really is another thing, this is 18 atoms of carbon. This is saturated. Usually the oil coming from the animals, like that. They have oils, like the pork, the pig, the beef, they have their own oils, and then you can also use that as an oil, like that. Okay? Get the point. Ganun siya. So, what is siya? General formula of our saturated fats in which we will use in the fatty acids are stearic acid. Okay. But the same principle if you will use the, the low molecular carboxylic fats. Okay? It doesn't matter as long as you understand how to react. Okay. Now here, we have OH here and OH here. You will say normally at first, they will never react because they have the same OH negative. It looks like repel, right? But take note that hydrogen here in the, glycerol will react to the OH here in the carboxylic acid here. It will take the OH. Ganon. You will take. Okay. Because the H of glycerol is positive. And the OH of fatty acids is negative. So negative plus positive reaction takes place. Okay? Like that here. Okay. Your technique always, guys, is to look for the OH and H. Okay? Do not look for that oxygen which has an excess electrons because it's not possible to react on that outlet. And also the alkyl. Always see the OH and H all the time. This is the technique in all chemical reactions. And then if that is not possible, find another thing. But first go with this concept. Like this, OH and then OH also like that, blah, blah, blah. Okay? You get the point? Because there's no H here yet, only the R. And the OH will never react to R. And it will come back to alcohol. So R plus OH, that is alcohol also because R represents alkyl. For example, R, CH3 plus OH, it will become methanol. So that's why glycerol, may methanol, so wala yung mabuhat na lipid. It cannot produce lipids, so it's not logical to react with the R, which is our fatty acid. Ganon, alkyl group chain. Ganon. Okay, ganon siya. Then transform this now to another chemical formula after getting the water. I will get the 1 water in the carbon 1, the 1 water in the carbon 2, and the 3 water in the carbon 3. It will now become a mere product as I discussed in the general formula or chemical reaction. I have to put here 3 molecules of water here. Meaning to say you take out the water already. Okay? From this chemical reaction. Okay? If you react the glycerol and the fats, amazing, it will produce water. Because glycerol is more on liquid. Okay? Like that. Get the point? So, nanatandaan water. So, what's the pair for this? Esters, right? Okay, and now nilalaman mo siya. So, H, product, H, C, ikuha niyo mo guys yung mabilit O, right? And then, single bond H. And then C, H, 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 H. Okay, O. So, this will become O na lang. Ang H was removed. So, it will become directly like this, because here is the water. All the hydrogens are removed to form 3 moles of water. Now, it will become, okay, O, and then it will become H. Okay? Get the point mga talaga akong hitad. Okay, like that. So, C, okay. Take note, C, R. So count the carbon if you have 4 bands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it's not all the time you will look the bands also that you still follow the rule. Okay, because if you will not follow the rule, your chemical reactions will be wrong. Do not forget also. Okay? Get the point, mga palangga kong hitad. And then for the second, we have carbon here, ganon. Oxygen here, ganon. Same story, carbon, ganon. Okay. Now what is our R? So our R is the alkyl. Alkyl continuation of our fatty acids. Because the fatty acids have R. And the R there is our alkyl group. Now, I say a while ago that we have 18 atoms carbon. So, consider this C as 1 na siya in counting. Okay, so remove the R, change this with carbon until 18 carbon atoms. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. You can see this carbon atoms is inside our system. Okay, after we eat the food and the substances. The same story until later. I will never write because it will consume time until here also. Carbon also until here. Okay, ganon. And then it become H. All carbon will be bonded with H. That's the rule, Okay. C and H is always partner with each other in polymer chemistry and hydrocarbon chemistry, or in petroleum industry or oil and gas industry. Okay? Or petrochemicals industry. Petrochemicals are chemicals produced driven by petroleum. Okay, that's why we produce petrochemicals. Meaning to say petroleum plus chemicals. And shortcut that one, that's why petrochemicals. Okay, like that. And petroleum is also known generally as crude oil. Okay. So, you can say directly, petrochemicals are chemicals driven by petroleum. Petrochemicals that driven by, crude oil. It's just the same because petroleum is an example of crude oil. Crude oil is an example of petroleum, reverse. Okay? So here, as you can notice, H and carbon all the time because this is hydrocarbon. Okay? We are loaded of hydrogen and carbon atoms in our system if we eat kabosh and rice. Okay? You get the point. So we need to burn this carbon. 18 guro, 18 atoms times 3. We have 54 atoms of carbon to be burned in the raw materials pa lang siya in our system. Okay, plus other carbon from the protein, carbon from the other substances also, the hormone, the enzyme, whatever, vitamins, like that. So we are loaded with carbon atoms. Okay? That's why when we die, we will become an ash. Because carbon turns into ash, a black ash later on. Because human being is made of carbon atoms. Get the point? Carbon atoms, hydrogen atoms, oxygen atoms, nitrogen atoms, and phosphorus 5. Okay, CHNOP. Okay, basically the protein. Okay, because carbohydrates, it's in the protein already. CHO there is the carbohydrates. If you add OP is the protein. That's why human beings are made of protein. Okay, that's why protein is the building block of life. You get the point? When we die, we will become an ash. Something like, because the ash is made of carbon atoms. And it will turn into black. Something like, of course, the muscles will be eaten by the earthworm. Okay? Because, the process will be like this in the biology. Okay? So, the earthworm will eat us in order the earthworm will also live. And after that, the earthworm will be eaten to the blah blah blah. Just like commensalescent, predator, like that. You got the point in your biology. So, mabalik-balik rin siya, guys. Okay? You got the point? No? That's why the earthworm will eat us. Get the point? Okay. Going back. So, muna siya. So, ano naman siya, guys? Muna siya akong ester linkage here. Okay? This is R here, right? And this is R, C, O, OH. And our OH here is this one. I-attach na ito. So, muna itong esters here. Okay? R, C, O, O, R. See? R here, C, O, O, R. Masabi siya. So, R, C, double bond oxygen, O, R, apostrophe. This is our general formula of ester, which followed by our reaction here specifically. Okay, get the point. Now, there are two types of fats. In health science, they exclude the bad fats, which is the trans fats. Because FDA, Food Drugs Administration, all over the world, WHO and CDC, regulated the trans fats equal to 0 in all the food and beverages supplied globally in the market. So if there's a reading, it is not good to the health. So it's automatic to become 0. Okay? Review that when you go to the Bacala, when you buy to the market, take note if you eat lala, something like that, if you eat ice cream, whatever, or junk foods, read the packaging. The trans fat is always equal to 0. Okay? So we will limit only to unsaturated and saturated. I will also write the trans fat for the purpose of information. Trans fat. Trans fat is equal to 0. Okay? Like that. As nothing also because 0, right? Okay. Now unsaturated fats can be subdivided into two. The mono and the poly. Again, adjective in English. Meaning mono, unsaturated. Poly, unsaturated. Okay. Mono, unsaturated. Poly, unsaturated. So most of the polyunsaturated are, for example, olive oil, canola oil, like this. Monounsaturated mostly are sunflower oil, like that. Corn oil. Okay. It's not mentioned there in my study, vegetable oil, because vegetable oil will produce rancid effect during to other types of chemical reaction. Okay? Wait, there's a process for that. Okay? It's not stacking in my brain cells for now. Maybe later it will come out. Okay. Vegetable oil is not advisable. Okay? Because it causes rancidity of your food like that, and then the Clostridium, Clostridium Helicobacter pylori bacteria will accumulate, and also the Clostridium butanilum butanilum. Ang hirap! Causes also poisons in the food if you use vegetable oil, because vegetable easily get rotten. Something like that. You get the point? Okay. There's a term for this. I couldn't remember the term. Later I can remember. Okay. Too much in my brain cells. Okay, like that. So the good oils are sunflower oil, corn oil, olive oil, canola oil. If there's no other oil, then you can use also cooking oil, but be careful, not too much. Because cooking oil is saturated oil. Okay, get the point. Okay, that's why the price will be based on the health effects. Olive is expensive, canola is expensive because this is healthy oil. So it will go with a price. Okay, and then the sunflower also not too much, because monounsaturated, guys, it contains one single band. Polyunsaturated, it contains 3 or more double bands. Okay, sorry. Monounsaturated, 1 double band. Polyunsaturated contains 2 or more double bands. Meaning to say the double bands will signify the unsaturation of your oil and your fatty acids. The more it will become healthy if it will be banded by a double band, not the single band. Why? Okay, why? Because there will be a strong London dispersion forces chemical reaction. What's the use of this London dispersion? The intermolecular forces is so very high, okay, that it will be compacted with each other. The more it will be compacted, the more it will bend, because heavy weight compacted with each other. Just like protein, the more it will fold like this, not stretching, fold, and then the more it will synthesize into protein to produce nucleic acid that will be used in our DNA. Same story also with the fats. The more it will become, folded or, compacted, not stretching, okay, because of the double bands, then it will become unsaturated and helpful to the health. Okay, something, because it will create folding like that, but the single band is always straight. If straight, then problem. Okay, you got the point? Anak siya. Okay, so like that. This is unsaturated fatty acids, mga gano'n chupa-chucho. Okay, you got the point? Ma-fold siya. Okay. Kakaloka. Okay. Ang tawag na niya kayo kay kink man siya, kink. K-I-N-K, kink chain of carbon and hydrogen. Ganon. Okay, mabugatan siya. I show you the linear, it will become band because of the double band, and the more it will become unsaturated and the more it will become healthy. Okay. An example of our monounsaturated is the oleic acid. Okay. Example of polyunsaturated is the linoleic acid. Okay. Like that. Okay. Example of saturated is the stearic acid. Stearic acid is the representation of saturated fat, or saturated fatty acids. Okay. Linoleic is the representation of the polyunsaturated fats or fatty acids. Oleic acid is the representation of the monounsaturated fats. Okay. So, of the three, linoleic oil and linoleic acid is the best. Okay. The olive or the canola oil. Okay. Or other oil that follows the unsaturation chemical reaction. The more it will become unsaturated, again, the more it will become healthy to the people. Okay, ganon. Like that. With the point, ganon siya. Now, in regards to the physical properties for the melting point, which is having a higher melting point? The saturated or the unsaturated? try to think. Do not memorize, try to think. Okay? For example, if you have a single band, okay, here, single band, let's say steric. Okay? Steric acid representation is carbon 18, H36O2. Oleic acid representation, we have C18, H34O2. Linoleic acid representation is also C18, H32O2. Now take note the molecular weight, which is heavier. The more it is heavier, the higher melting point. Because you need to apply more heat for this in order to be melted. Okay? That's why saturated fats have higher melting point. Okay. So, have higher melting point. You got the point. And then, this one have lower melting point. So, lower melting point are called oils. Higher melting point are called fats or fatty acids. So, at least kasabot natakalo sa siya ma-oil. Okay? Because it has a low melting point. That is only the difference technically when to say an oil and a fat or fatty acid. But basically, they are belong to the same family, the lipid family and the fat family. Okay? Get the point. But if you try to be strict categorically, when to say an oil and when to say a fat, then you can say they're the true point. And then, if you get the relationship between melting point, you will always consider the molecular weight. Okay? Like that. Not the melting point also for the vaporization state, like the volatility. Okay? Like that. The more it has a very high molecular weight, then it is very slow to be volatilized, right? Okay, to vapor. Okay, you will just understand because some of these are not taught by the instructors and teachers in the school. Okay, but the point you need to understand if there's a topic, let's say the topic is evaporation, you research all about evaporation in the library so that you will know really what the other topics related to that. Okay, you get the point, hindi man ma-discuss pa na guys. Okay, ganon. You get the point? Ano ito mga physical properties na yun? Importante yung mga physical properties, guys. Okay. So, muna na siya atong TG. What are our... So, if too much TG and cholesterol, then mabalik sa flow chart, naman tayo chemical reaction. So, TG here, triglyceride, break down into, okay, cholesterol. Okay, like this. Get the point? So originally the lipid family, and then it will goes to TG, triglycerides. Okay, and then it will become here cholesterol. Okay, okay. So LDL and okay HDL, high density lipoprotein and low density lipoprotein. It will go to the bloodstream. Okay. Now, the function of the LDL is very good. Okay? Because this one will transport the vitamins, minerals, acids, oxygen, ions, going to different vital organs, running into the blood vessels. This is the function of the LDL. Then why he will become bad? The LDL, not the HDL. Again, it talks about the density issue. Okay, because this is low density, he will transport anywhere. Right? So the HDL will slow, so he will not go anywhere. You get the point? He will go, but a portion of HDL only will go. But a majority of the LDL will go. That's why the tendency is this LDL will stuck and deposited to the blood vessels. It's not the HDL. Okay? Because high density, of course, hindi ka siya move. Ang low density, move kay kaan man. You got the point? Si low density, lipoprotein ang bad cholesterol. Even if its function is very important to move this vitamins, minerals, oxygen in the bloodstream, going to the specific vital organs that need it the most. Okay, for example, liver needs iron, hemoglobin, like that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, pancreas needs insulin. Oh. Brain needs myelin. What's myelin, Sir Sotero? Equivalent to fats that insulates our